potentially become a tropical depression. Now, first, it's going to jog its way westward. Early Thursday might be close to the South Texas coastline, but then it takes a jet to the north, and this is key. It may make landfall sometime on Thursday, whether it's an actual system or not. It's going to be an area of low pressure pushing ashore. If it moves right into the Austin area, the heavy rain stays to our east, but if we're lucky enough to see it on the western side of our area, then all of us could reap the benefits of rain. If it's far out off to the east, we get nothing out of it. So everything is still in play. Could be far west, could be far east, or could be somewhere in the middle, which would favor things for us. At the same time, this system, potential tropical cyclone number 2, is likely to become perhaps a strong tropical storm or even low-end hurricane and become Bonnie. Now, our rain potential is not all that impressive with this system. A 20 to 30% chance Thursday into Friday. Meantime, for our friends to the south and east, beneficial rain, possibly even flooding rain, can't be ruled out. Houston and on down toward the coastline. Fayette County, you are included in that low-end risk. I'd be really surprised, though, if we have any issues. To show you an example, 2 different computer models. The one on the left gives us a paltry 0.4 of an inch. The one on the right only gives us 0.04 of an inch. So needless to say, the current tracks of the tropical system do not favor us getting much. And after that, the heat builds back in by Sunday and July 4th, triple digits on the comeback. We'll be right back. Yesterday we got the rain. Today we broke that streak, a record streak for June, 12 consecutive days of triple digits, ending today with a beautiful number, 94. By the way, the all-time longest triple-digit streak, 27 days. That was back in 2011, the same year we had 90 days of triple digits. 22 is our number so far this year. 84 degrees outside right now. It is pleasant. It is also dry. There had been some It is late. Let's see, 12:44 in the morning. Oh, I've got Skippy Poo. Hi, Skippy. You wanna come up? He's like right under the table. Let me see if I can pull him up here. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Hi, Stephanie, you're up late. All right, we got Skippy right here. Ewok's already in his crate, getting some solid sleeping time in, right? Yes, but Skippy's gonna hang out with us. All right, so here you go. This is the forecast as we look ahead for the next 7 days. We should see below 100 degrees for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then we are right back into the thick of the heat starting Sunday through July 4th and on into Tuesday and beyond. Sally, how you doing? You say you can't hear me. I apologize for that. I have the audio up, I believe, as high as I can put it. So I don't know what else I can do. And oh, Stephanie took a nap, so there you go. You know, and what's interesting is prior to me firing this up, I was actually playing around with the audio, trying to make sure that you would be able to hear me, so I apologize. Leanne can hear. That's good to know. Thank you for letting me know. Bill, hi, how you doing? Hope all is well. Lots of people up late. Oh, you know what? And I just realized when I put the subject in here, I said it was the 28th, but obviously it is already the 29th now. It is Wednesday as we're firing things up. All right, so let's talk about what to expect. Currently, we do have a little bit of cloud cover in place. It's 76 degrees in Austin. Isn't it crazy to think that some of the previous mornings or overnights we would have died to have a low of 76 degrees because it was so muggy. And I think we may drop all the way down into maybe the 72 to 73 degree range by the time we wake up in the morning. So not too shabby, but humidity is going to start to climb just a little bit as the cold front that's down to our south is nudging its way back north as a warm front. Londa can hear. Thank you so much for letting me know. Dexter, how you doing? Thank you as well for checking in super late. All right, just thought I'd throw this out there. Agricultural burning down in Mexico is sending a little bit of smoke across parts of our area. And also our general winds at the surface level are out of the north and northeast currently. So a little bit of smoke also coming in from the north, while at the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere, we've got smoke coming in from the south. And this is a look at the Saharan dust tracker. This is key. You know why? Because absence of dust is actually allowing systems like this one in the Gulf to have a pretty possible chance of getting organized. And as you can see, as we widen things out, there really isn't any dust to speak of that will inhibit tropical development. So we've got a 40% chance of development. As we head towards Sunday and Monday, though, we do start to see some Saharan dust roll into the Gulf of Mexico. But by that time, that system will be already well inland. And as you can see, as we zoom things way out there, even on into next week, there's not a whole lot of dust that is expected to be around. We'll see a little burst that will be moving through the Caribbean by then. So basically that means that the Gulf of Mexico is fair game for now, and maybe parts of the Atlantic will be fair game later on next week. As long as we're not in the dust, as long as we're not in this shear, and the warm temperatures are plenty warm. Low temperatures as of today, 72 degrees. No big surprise there. It was pretty nice in the morning, that's for sure. And the afternoon high reached 94 degrees at Camp Mabry and only 92 out at ABIA. Drought update, I'm excited to see the next one. It will come in on Thursday. And even though not everyone got a ton of rain, I'm hoping that there will at least be some slight improvement. So here's a look at the high temperatures, and this, of course, because we're after midnight, is going to be highs on Tuesday. Sally can hear now. Thank you for letting me know. I appreciate that. Curtis, what's going on? All right, so the rainfall that we had was great, but incidentally enough, we needed so much rain that even with the rain, we're still at a deficit for the month. Also with the rain, we saw the allergies go up in terms of mold. We saw it spike into the high range. Air quality, as we look ahead to your Wednesday, will be in the moderate range. Should also be moderate as we head into Thursday and then improve to good on Friday. But at this point, it doesn't look like we're going to have any ozone action days or anything like that. Probably the biggest news is, the rain that we saw on Monday and the triple-digit streak being broken on Tuesday. And then starting Wednesday, the store is going to be checking that system in the Gulf. As you can see, there's nothing on radar currently, although earlier some of you were able to reap the benefits of yet another round of some isolated to scattered showers and storms. So now that the streak has been broken, we stop the count at 12 days in a row, 21 days in June, and 22 days so far in 2022. As you can see, generally seeing winds at the surface out of the northeast at this time, and that's behind that weak front, which is starting to mudge back off toward the north. All right, so let's talk about the weather number, 94 degrees. That was our high. I never knew how much I would appreciate a high of only 94 degrees, but it felt pretty awesome. Robert, hello, how are you? Thanks for checking in. I'm curious, did you get a nice little break in the heat up north in the Dallas area as well? I'm sure you did. I didn't check in to see what the official high was there. All right, so here's a look at radar. Earlier, San Antonio got lots of rain earlier in the day, kind of making up for the areas that did not see as much on Monday. But the front is basically going to work its way to the north and usher in slightly more humid air. So we'll watch that happen during the course of the day on Wednesday. Meantime, here is the big area of disturbed weather that we're keeping tabs on, and X basically marks the spot, which is the center of a very broad area of circulation. It's not defined enough to yet be termed a depression, but it might be able to. So the Weather Predictions Center, the National Hurricane Center, I should say, has deemed this a medium chance of development, about a 40% possibility. So it's totally possible we may see a developing depression at some point. So right now, this is basically the area where there's kind of the broad spin in the atmosphere, but it hasn't become kind of centered enough to become a depression. Winds also are not going to be a big concern. They're at 25 miles per hour right now. It's drifting westward at only about 5 miles per hour as we speak. Let's see, Robert got 1/10 of an inch of rain, temps down significantly, and dew points too. That's awesome. Savor every single degree of it, that's what I say. All right, so this tropical wave that is being termed Invest 95L, which invest as in, hey, the Hurricane Center wants to investigate it, and that's why they call it an invest. So the area of low pressure has lots of possibilities. As we head toward early Thursday, the general motion is going to be kind of west, and then maybe it may actually get very close to South Texas, depending on how things play out. And then it's expected to take a pretty sharp turn to the right, and that would push it close to the coastline Thursday night. And then it tracks inland, which would make its closest pass to Austin Friday, and then it continues northward. So the big question is, and there are lots of questions with this, will this thing curve up to the north like this, in which case we would be left high and dry, or will it jet all the way through South Texas and move into Mexico, in which case we would also be left high and dry, or will it take one of these middle of the road options, which is also possible. Well, here's the deal. In order for us to see the most rain, we almost want to see something that's all the way out like so. If it were to go to our west far enough, typically these tropical systems, whether it becomes a depression or not, will favor rain just east of the center of circulation. So that track plays a huge role. I will tell you, I'm not terribly excited about where this could be heading. We may see, many areas see less than 1/4 of an inch of rain. It's also pretty busy elsewhere. I'm going to give you the lay of the land. This system out here in the central Atlantic has a 30% chance of development. The system in the Pacific has a 70% chance of development. Celia finally turned into a post-tropical system. And then we've got potential tropical cyclone number 2, which has been a potential tropical cyclone now for over 24 hours and hasn't yet been pushed into tropical storm category, but its winds are already up to around 40 miles per hour. Now the system has already pushed over Trinidad and Tobago, and now it is skirting just north of South America of Venezuela. As you can see, the current track does push the system very close to Curacao, and then it continues tracking westward where there could be some land interaction. If there's interaction with land, that might tear the system apart. If it stays over open water, that might allow it to strengthen just a little bit. So currently the National Hurricane Center does show it strengthening to about 45 miles per hour as it's in the far northeastern tip of Colombia. And then it makes its way out into the open waters of the Southwest Caribbean, where it indeed does have a chance to strengthen, at which point by the time we reach Friday, this thing could be a Category 1 hurricane. And possible tracks could swing it westward into Nicaragua, or if it takes a more southerly track, could move it through the northern portions of Costa Rica. And to make things even more interesting, is the system is expected to cross over into the Pacific Basin. So it would go from the Atlantic side over to the Pacific side, and it may not even totally weaken into remnants before it reemerges. So we may have one of the crossover storms. So just to give you a better picture of how this looks visually, this system will probably end up being Bonnie, but it does have the potential to turn into our first hurricane of the Atlantic hurricane season. And if it does, it would be Hurricane Bonnie. Colby, how you doing? Let's see, Stephanie says you remember Hurricane Celia from the Gulf of Mexico in 1970, about 5 years old, right through Corpus. Ooh, I bet that brought some rain to Austin if it went through Corpus first. If you were living in the Corpus area, I don't know. I honestly don't have any recollection because that was before my time, but I'd be interested to look up and see what Celia's path may have been. Here's the rainfall potential, which is not all that impressive for our area, but depending on the track of the system, this Invest 95L, right now the Weather Prediction Center has some pretty good rainfall totals projected for areas of southeast Texas. So in particular, some of the heaviest totals might end up being from, say, the Matagorda Bay area up toward Galveston Bay, where there could be 5 or so inches of rain, which might be enough to cause possibly some flooding. Now, speaking of flooding, technically the Weather Prediction Center has posted and hoisted, I should say, a low end potential for flooding. Sorry, that map just went way away. What's going on? I have a little blue circle of death popping up on the computer. But anyway, I was going to say that there is a very small potential for Fayette County, point south and east, for some low flood risk. You know what? I think I've jinxed us. The computer is doing the whirling, swirling death. So let's not count on that actually working. Instead, I'm going to go to a couple of other things just to share them with you on my other computer. So first, let's go over here. And this is Tropical Tidbits, which is a great website to check in on, different parameters, and it's kind of a one-stop shop. So here is a look at the potential intensities of potential tropical cyclone number 2. This is the one that could become Bonnie. And I think it's kind of interesting to look at this because some of the computer models, or at least one, the SHIPS model, is suggesting that system could strengthen all the way up to a Category 2 hurricane before making landfall. Several others are showing that it may reach Category 1 status, and a whole slew of these systems, or computer models I should say, are suggesting that it becomes a tropical storm, which is already at tropical storm strength in terms of winds. It just needs a well-defined center. Now let's take a look at 95L. This is the Gulf system. So first I'm going to show you kind of the satellite imagery. And just to orient you, this is the Texas Gulf coastline. Here's Brownsville right there, Beaumont, Port Arthur right there. And this area in here, which is showing those brighter red colors, that is the system that we are currently watching. And the center of the low is probably somewhere right in here, the way things are looking right now. Okay. So let's take a look at some of the guidance for this. This is looking at one set of different computer models. And a lot of these actually do push this thing close to, if not over, Austin. Keeping in mind, if the track goes through Austin, that the heaviest rain will likely be east of Austin. So that would favor the rain for Highway 77 corridor, for instance. Let's see. Robert said you were surprised to hear Celia as well. Well, I'm wondering if it's because Celia is on the Pacific side and maybe it was retired for the Atlantic. I'm not too sure. Ken, good morning. Hope you're doing well. I hope you had a great trip to New York City. It looked like you did from what I could tell. All right, so let's take a look then at some of the other computer models. This is the GFS computer model, the American computer model. And it actually, the darkest black line right here is the consensus track. And this one takes it all the way into South Texas, which would do very little for us here in Central Texas as far as rainfall. And there are about 30 different members, if you will, or spaghetti pieces in that that was the GFS ensemble. Here's another example of all kinds of possibilities, but the main consensus track with this one is this black line right in here. So it's pretty likely that this thing will head into Texas. We just don't know exactly where and if it will develop into something. So here, the majority of computer models keep this thing in the white zone, which means it would be a depression. It would not reach tropical storm status. However, there are 2 computer models that say, hey, it might become a tropical storm. And of those 2, one of them, the ship's computer model, says it might become a Category 1 hurricane, which is a very, 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 very low possibility. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how things play out with that. And I already showed you the potential rainfall totals, which are quite a bit varying depending on if the rain pushes across. And I'm going to actually pull up some examples of the rainfall, but depending on the track. So for instance, I'm going to show you the latest run of the GFS computer model, and we'll take a look at how much rain is projected. Let's go through time. We'll do a forecast slideshow, and I will walk through time showing you the potential rainfall from the system. Okay, so here we are. We've made it to Sunday. And based on the GFS computer model, there's very, very tight clustering of the heaviest rain right along the immediate coastline. And it's farther south with the heaviest rainfall, clustered closer actually to the areas south and west, the kind of middle Texas coast, including anywhere from Aransas to Matagorda. And with this, I'm trying to look at the exact spots. It's showing about an inch of rain for the Austin area. So this is the GFS computer model, and it's the one that came in tonight. So this is tonight's latest run. And it's giving about an inch of rain to us, but the heaviest rain along the coastline. Okay, so now let's take a look at the European computer model. And we'll do the same thing. We'll take a look at it and how much rain it is projecting. And it is not out too far, but we'll see if we can get it far enough out to actually bring the system inland. So I'll walk through time. Oh, it only goes through Friday. The latest computer model run, I should say. So through Thursday night, I should say. So through Thursday night, it's showing some 2+ inch rainfall totals, but they're all the way down in the Gulf, and nothing really has pushed inland just yet. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and do the previous. Oops, that wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. Oh, I went to the wrong thing. I have to go back in and pull it back up again. No, pivotal weather, not pivotal. Anyway, I think I've gotten off my track. Because I closed out the window. This is what happens when it's late at night and I'm trying to pull stuff up that I don't have all set up. Oh, also I should mention to you that there's not a severe weather threat with any of this, but it does look like we could see some thunderstorms Thursday, a very slim chance of thunderstorm close to the coast on Wednesday, and probability is too low on Friday, but I think as that system pushes inland, Friday will also be fair game. You know what? It's after 1. We should call it a night. Let's see, Ken returning home for day, had a fabulous time. Oh, I'm so glad you had a great time. That's awesome. All right, so anyway, I've jibber-jabbed long enough, but in general, I don't think we're going to get a ton of rain out of this. Maybe things will change. At least the GFS computer model is a little bit heavier than it had been the previous run, so we shall see. All right, with that, thanks for checking in as always. Avery Tomaska will have your latest forecast update first thing in the morning. 4:30 a.m. is when CBS Austin Morning News starts. And you guys have a great night, and thanks for staying up late. It's always nice to be able to chat when we do these things really late at night. All right, there you go. Your forecast. Triple digits returning by Sunday as well as July. Take care.